Our next question, Jim, was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from LeVar Ravel.
What? Is that a palindrome?
Not only is it the name, he actually, or she, I assume, wrote out how to pronounce the name. LeVar Ravel.
That's a palindrome.
In 1987, on one of the Crockett shows, they had you interview the New Breed as they introduced their new manager, XTC1, supposedly a mechanical mastermind who had time traveled from the future, but it looked like a 2-foot robot pulled off the rack at Toys R Us. You actually bent down and held the mic up to this little toy so it could cut a promo. What viewers heard was a recording of a woman who trash-talked the Boogie Woogie Man, Lasertron, and the Rock and Roll Express in a rambling, monotone voice. So, Jim, was this the low point in wrestling when you felt desperate to run and hide in the nearest crack in the earth and wish you had never entered the business?
Well, it wasn't that bad. But actually, I kind of got a kick out of it because I don't really think I got any on me. What it was back in those days, once again, you were supposed to get yourself over to an extent. I mean, you would be pushed, you'd be given TV time or wins on television or whatever the case. But the New Breed, Dusty was looking for, young, cutting-edge guys, and Sean Royal and Chris Champion could work. They could do good shit in the ring, and they had the haircuts and everything, and they looked, more contemporary than your average old fucking Dick Murdoch at that point. And they had come up with we're the gimmick, where they didn't legitimately say this, and the announcers weren't like, yeah, boy, that Time Machine really did a great job. They said they were a tag team from the future, and it was clearly that they were obviously A, on drugs, which was probably part of the appeal, and B, that they weren't really from the future, right? But they say they're a tag team from the future. And it was the same when I used to do Memphis TV, and it was live TV every Saturday morning. I'd try to bring things to, whether it's the yachting cap or, reading a Forbes magazine or thing, to get my gimmick over. And bookers like that, Dusty liked the New Breed's incentive that they went out and got a robot off the rack at Toys R Us to fucking flesh out their gimmick. I'm sure. I don't think he knew what was going to happen. I think that was one of those deals where the New Breed found out that they got 2 or 3 minutes for a fucking interview. And I don't recall, actually, the only thing that I remember about it beforehand was the thing was supposed to fucking talk and say something pertinent to the angle. And they just kind of came out and did it. And it was really, really, really cheesy. So I think if anybody had known what the content was or what it was going to look like beforehand, maybe somebody would have said, let's not do that. But the New Breed were convinced that was really going to be a cool thing to get them over. But we used to improvise a lot of shit on Atlanta TV. Remember, one time this fucking comedian that used to work, he was like the fucking dirtiest comic in the South at that time. What was his goddamn name? Jay Hickman. He brought me a big fucking trophy. I think he'd been up all night doing cocaine, probably with some of the individuals on the show, and smelled strongly of alcohol at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. And he brought me a trophy. It says world's greatest manager or manager of the year or whatever. So I took it out and fucking did a promo about me just being named manager of the year by the world famous comedian at the Cheetah 3 Lounge or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. We ended up, a match ended early for some reason. We had like 3-4 minutes to kill at the end of the show one time. This was time I got stuck in the podium. If Dusty called us in the last commercial break, he said, okay, Cornette, go out and start cutting a promo. Talk about Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie's going to come out and grab you. The Midnight's going to jump him. Here comes BW. We're going to just have a fight off the air. Go, right? We're up. Okay, I start cutting a promo on Ronnie Garvin. He comes out, instead of snatching me, he takes the towel from around his neck and snatches me with it around my neck and pushes me over backwards. My big fat ass falls through the front of the fucking podium, and I'm stuck there with my arms up and my legs up, and my ass is in the middle of the podium while he's throttling me. And here comes the fucking Midnight Express. And I've still got my racket is still dangling in one hand, right, while he's throttling me. And you see, I think Stan gets there and grabs the racket out of my hand and whacks Ronnie with it. And then Bobby and Stan start kicking the shit out of him. But here comes Barry Windham making a big fucking comeback. And somebody takes the goddamn WCW backdrop behind the announce desk, pulls that over. And shit's falling. And we went off the air that way. Nobody knew that wasn't even on the format. The fucking, you can tell the cameramen are going, what the fuck's going on? That was a lot of and all the interviews. Dusty told you, here's who you're talking about, or here's how long you've got. Sometimes you didn't even have it. Just get yourself over. You didn't even have a specific topic. And that's why some of it was classic, and that's why some of it was a little drab in some cases too.
But it was fun for you, and that's something that guys today can't do.
And plus, we did a lot of, that's why people remember my promos from the Atlanta TV, because since there was actually not only more time, but really just you do whatever the fuck you wanted to. I brought props, I'm dressed as Sherlock Holmes trying to find the Road Warriors after we, hospitalized them so they could go to Japan. Or, when we're working with the Garvins, I'm in the gorgeous Jimmy wig with the fucking feather boa and a poster of Precious. It turns out to be this 300-pound woman in a bikini.
Did you bring out Weekly World News once? Weekly
World News, because I proved that this was during the Midnight and original Midnight feud. I proved that we're here right here next to the headline, Dinosaurs Honked Like Buicks and World War II Bomber Plane Found on Moon. Is proof that Paul Heyman used to be a woman and has had a sex change operation. And I put his picture over the impossible sex change headline. And just shit like that. Nobody knew we were going to do that. That's why the one time I mentioned the Challenger and everything went, and Dusty called me and said, do it again. Don't mention the Challenger, kid. But if David Crockett got mad at me one time, he was in the hallway. He was pissed because I was always trying to figure out ways. He was very puritanical with, oh my God, the Attitude Era. I'm sure when he was working for WCW and the Monday Night Wars, he probably fucking washed his eyes and ears out with bleach when he left the tapings with the because he didn't want bad language or any suggestive stuff or whatever, because if you just blatantly did it, the guys he knew from his family being in the business forever, you get kicked off TV if guys were just stupid with it. But I would do the shit that you could get away with, but there was still a wink to it. Like I was talking about one day on Atlanta TV, how Sweet Stan was over with so many of the women. And I said, look, Madonna and Sean Penn just got a divorce. Sweet Stan could be Madonna's next Sean. Joan Collins and Peter Holm got a divorce. Sweet Stan could be Joan Collins' next Peter. He got hot over there. He was like, I said, I'm using Christian names, David. Come on. But I'd either try to crack Tony up or try to get under David's skin by being edgy.